tell me about the role. Tell me more about Shaw.
Captain Shaw, he former engineer in Starfleet, so he's been in it from the ground up. He was he's been in Starfleet for a good long time, and he's worked his way through the ranks from the engine room all the way to the captain's chair. Um, he's a blue collar kind of pragmatic, suffers no fools, uh,
Mhm.
says what's on his mind. Um, Man who kind of clings to protocol and procedure and chain of command because he deeply believes when you are out in the final frontier, these are the things, these structures that are in place are there to keep people alive. And
Mhm.
so he firmly believes that his primary goal is the safety of his crew and the ship itself. So he it's an exploratory mission. Like this is his gig, and he loves his gig, and he's a curious man, and he likes to see how the things work and how the world works and how the universe works. But he is not a fan of unnecessary risk.
Yeah, you kind of get that in that first episode when he goes up against Picard because Picard's like, I want to go do this. And he's like, oh, absolutely not.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. No. Could you imagine somebody coming on board the Enterprise and without actual orders, so a surprise visit saying, "Hey, we're changing your course." Why? You know, just cause. No.
I mean, it's just like someone coming into your job and saying, oh, this is how we're going to do this. But who are you? You
Yeah,
know?
can I see your paperwork? No, we don't
Yeah.
have any. It's just something we want to do. It's a surprise. Yeah,
Yeah,
no.
yeah, definitely. And how much fun was that to go up against Picard in that scene? Like, how much fun was that scene to do?
Well, it was really fun because I think it was my first scene with Jerry.
Mhm.
I think I'd already done a scene with Patrick and Jonathan before. But what's really fun about that scene is it's an uncommon. People often they may treat like villains often will treat Picard with animosity, but rarely do you see Starfleet uh,
Mhm.
kind of disregarding his legend, you know? And that was what was really interesting about that scene and the dynamic of the characters, that in spite of their, and maybe because of their peppered history, I should say,
Mhm.
they, fireworks are there, and his response and reception to them is unexpected. And that's what I love about the scene is he just doesn't care. He is not impressed.
Mhm.
And that's what's fun about him. Well, it certainly, look. You don't want scenes to be predictable, and you don't want relationships to be uncomplicated. Like so, from the word go, we meet this very unpredictable response from this captain, and it is, as they say, the grit that makes the pearl. This is the
Mhm.
stuff that makes, ideally, for good television drama. Is watching these characters, especially in Star Trek, because it's all about problem solving as a team. So watching the gulf that these characters stand upon right as we meet them, and how are they going to bridge it in order to solve the problems they have to solve.
Now, moving forward in the season, is there anything you can say about the development of Shaw without giving too much away?
Yeah, I think the best way to view Shaw, I think, is as caustic and unnerving as he may seem. He's a man who carefully considers his decisions and wants to have as much information as he possibly can have at any given moment. And if with information is withheld from him, he has to trust his own instincts. And until he has all the pieces of the puzzle, he's not going to make any rash decisions. He's going to play things the best way he knows how. And so I think what you're going to learn about him is when given information, he will make the right decisions, and
Mhm.
decisions that I think are that makes sense for his crew, and then ultimately, makes sense for the story as a whole. Like, I think that doesn't give anything away. And then we're also going to get a peek into what motivates him and why.
Hmm.
What is his source of pain and trauma, and where does this come from that he might treat these people this way?
I think the intrigue is already there because we see how he interacts with, you know, um, Seven of Nine and telling
Yeah,
her, no, you can't be called that. I'm going to call you something else. There's that intrigue there. Okay, why is he like that? Why isn't he letting these people be
yeah,
themselves?
yeah. He has to compartmentalize his feelings into different areas. Uh, he he understands the strength of having Seven, Annika,
Hmm.
Hansen. He recognizes the strength of having her as a first officer, but he also has to reconcile something about her that he doesn't respect.
I've seen you in many different shows over the years, and you've always played those characters that are a little rough on the edges.
Yeah,
What attracted you to this character in particular?
I uh, I am very much drawn to characters who are going to go through a change and a catharsis, and I really enjoy bringing an audience in and daring them to like you, giving them all the reasons not to,
Hmm.
but then ideally seeding something into the performance that makes him entertaining.
Hmm.
And then I love it when they hate a guy that I've done, and then watch them wrestle with their opinion of him as you see the changes that he goes through. I think it's a really fun process to give the audience that journey and play with their emotions and opinions in big ways.
Yeah, definitely. And it's a very realistic way of dealing with someone because, like, when you first meet someone, a lot of times your first impression is, I don't really like this person because I don't know them. And then you have
Exactly.
to grow and change your opinion as you go along.
Agreed. Agreed. And I think that was true of Deacon and 12 Monkeys. That's true of Shaw. I mean, Shaw and Deacon couldn't be further apart in that Deacon was a sociopathic warlord who, manned an army. In the same way, they're both leaders, and
Hmm.
they both can be charming and also kind of a dick. Uh, so I think they're similar in that way. Other than, but Shaw is he's a good man. Like
Hmm.
at, at the base of it all, I think Deacon had to learn how to be good again. I think people connected with him because people like to think of themselves as capable of change, and so when they see a character go through a change, it reflects upon their own choices and self forgiveness and self acceptance, and we are not our past. Uh,
Hmm.
we have agency to be better, and I think that appealed to people. Plus, I think they wrote him very funny and very he got to say the things like the Greek chorus from the side and kind of comment on the situation, and there's
Hmm.
a lot of Shaw, and a lot of the same people wrote Shaw that wrote Deacon. So they know how to lean into the kinds of characters that I play.
Is there anything in of you that's in Shaw?
um yeah, of course, because I'm the driver, right?
Hmm.
I think Shaw's cadence and rhythms are very much similar to mine. I grew up being influenced by guys that enjoy the kind of music of dialogue. Tom Hanks and Bill Murray and Christopher Walken and all of those guys that I kind of came up watching uh, with a little Harrison Ford in them. And so I love playing with language and playing with rhythm and cadence, and that's just something that as an actor, I just like finding the music and the dialogue. And as far as myself, I often like to undercut a situation with a bit of wit at times if I can, to the best of my ability. And I think Shaw is not above being aware that he's making a joke when he's making it.
Mhm.
Well,
Well, it has been a pleasure speaking with you, and we hope to see more from you this season, so we look
thank you,
forward to it.
Mads. Absolute pleasure chatting with you. You have a lovely afternoon.
You as well. Bye.
Take care.